The day after Ukraine was invaded by Russia, Eurovision banned Russia from participating in the contest. And there are people who are questioning why Eurovision didn't take the same view with Israel. Well, the problem is that the Israeli response to the Gaza attack was seen as self-defense and was seen as a legitimate call. It's just the way that Netanyahu then went about that self-defense, which is worrying and which has increasingly caused concern. And so it's not that surprising that there is still a debate about Eurovision, just as there's still a debate about Netanyahu and Israel's presence in the Gaza Strip and the allegations of genocide and extreme activity against the Palestinians by the Israeli Defense Services. The Eurovision contest is supposed to promote unity, peace, and cooperation. And yet, Israel is participating while it is occupying another territory, while it is invading another territory, while it is threatening to go beyond the legitimate rubrics laid out by its own government in terms of a self-defense. Attacking Rafah cannot be construed as self-defense. And increasingly the international community, the courts, are saying this must not happen, and yet Netanyahu is defiant. Surely that defiance is itself a reason for organizations like Eurovision simply to put their foot down and say, enough is enough. And I think it has to be that defiance on which a decision is made, not, oh, too many people have died, because one person is too many people. And you only go to war, or one should only go to war, as a last resort. It seems to me that the invasion of Gaza was a first resort, and that Netanyahu should have paused, should have assembled an international group to tackle the problem more carefully, should have put the hostages first rather than his political future. And so he's now told to desist by the UN, and yet he is still bellicose. He is still incandescent with rage and fury and revenge. And that revenge and that rage and fury is fully understood and is reflected in the original lyrics of the October Rain song, of course, which has now been reworked as This Hurricane, and Golan is singing the new lyrics with this new version of the song, well aware of even in their moderate format, they are still making reference, even though it's hard to see, leave a light on for me. It's not quite those who write history stand with us. They're all good children, each one of them. That's different. That is much more targeted. The new lyrics are less targeted, but they're still there. You can't erase the tone of that song. And Isaac Herzog, the Israeli president, was very keen that the song that Israel participated in the Eurovision Song Contest because it was so significant, because it had such global reach. He's absolutely right. I think it is important to stand together at a time of war, at a time of peace. This is the principle of the Olympic Games. But are there points at which a red line is crossed? Is it inconsistent for Russia to be banned and for Israel to participate? And I'm not sure a boycott is necessarily productive. I'm in the same way as I'm certainly not certain that international boycotts are productive. That we should be boycotting the produce of different nations simply because we are having problems with them. A boycott is to shut our eyes. A boycott is to shut our eyes and stop that diplomatic process which can lead to peace. And when it comes to art, is it the job of art to avoid controversy? Is it the job of art to be anodyne? Or is it the job of art to make a point? Surely, if the Eurovision Song Contest wanted to fix this problem, all they had to do was give Palestine a voice. All they had to do was give Palestine an entry. And even if that was to ensure that the Palestinian singer who was in the running to represent Iceland was the person who was selected, that was all they had to do. But they haven't managed to do that. Instead, it's been a spat about which words are acceptable and which are not acceptable, and let's make everything bland. That's not art, that's wallpaper.